Wow, what a ride that was. We are in South Deerfield, Massachusetts. Quite a distance from where we normally go, but I'm going to tell you, it was an amazing ride out there. The trees were just starting to burst with that slight energy of spring, and we are in spring right now. Well, I'm going to tell you, we are at this large building, and what is inside that building, right? It's filled with insects, butterflies, you name it, and the name is called Magic Wings. I'm going to tell you, this is going to be amazing. I am going to meet Kathy inside here. Let's go in and let's go see and get our hands ready for the butterflies. Let's go. Kathy, we've arrived. We've actually talked so many times on the phone and we've connected. Thank you so much for being on Around the Garden with Jimmy K. This is unbelievable. This is amazing over here. And the first thing I see are, what are these?
Well, these are just some of the very unique creatures that we have here at Magic Wings Butterfly Conservatory. I want to thank you very much for coming. We're very excited to have you. Welcome to your listeners. We're glad to have them with us. Over in this case, just a little taste of some of the tropical insects we have here at Magic Wings. These are our Madagascar hissing cockroaches. Yes, they do hiss. And they live here in this cage. There's two different types, the Madagascar hissing type and then the cave cockroaches that look just a little bit different.
Wow. Now, I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm going to say it. This looks like something that they would eat on those Survivor shows and all that. Are these similar? Are these, where do they come from?
These are similar only in that they are Madagascar hissing cockroaches. Nobody will be eating these. We will not be serving them with barbecue sauce or ranch. They stay nice and safe and sound here in their cage.
Yee. Now this is amazing over here, and I'm going to cut over here in front of you because these are so good as far as, is the right word, camouflaging themselves?
Camouflaging themselves, yes. And the way that you can really see them is some of them are wobbling back and forth. These are our Australian giant stick bugs. So very different than the stick bugs, say, you'd see here in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
The Australian stick bugs, this is an average critter for them in Australia. We have larger ones, we have baby ones in here. This baby has just climbed out of his shell or his skin during a growth spurt. So you can see his skin right there, and these are all native to Australia. We have males and females here in the case. Even though they look a little bit scary, they're complete vegetarians and they just eat off the plants that we provide them.
Now, one thing that you taught me, and if I'm correct, quote me, that these move like this because they're camouflaged, but they're acting like the actual leaf in a tree?
They are acting like leaves that are just blowing in the wind, and sometimes they'll wiggle just a little bit, and then if something gets closer to them or they feel something, they'll wiggle even more to hopefully ward off any type of predator.
And now we're going to see another one that's much, much better, that actually looks like a real leaf with all the little brown around it. That's amazing.
Yeah, and those.
So Kathy, here's the ones that are really almost like a James Bond movie. They're in a tree or a shrub, and they camouflage. Look at, they look like an actual leaf.
They look like an actual leaf, even at the very ends of them, where they look like a leaf has possibly been chewed on a little bit by some other creature. They have a real true camouflage that blends them right into wherever they are hanging. And as you look through the case, you'll see, if you look very closely, that there's other ones that are just very much camouflaged and staying in their spot. This one's definitely a little bit more active, and that's why we can see them really, really well.
That is really, truly amazing. I mean, That looks like an actual leaf.
It does, which is how they get their name, leaf insects. Now these bugs you would see if you were in somewhere like the Philippines. So again, we've designed this space to show people a whole lot of different types of tropical insects that they would literally have to take a trip around the world to see. But they can just come here to Magic Wings in South Deerfield and see it all right here.
This is amazing so far, but one thing out there that you hear people on the street and in their gardens, they want pollinators, they want to attract butterflies. Who doesn't? Into their garden. I mean, could you imagine you're at work, you're all day long, I gotta go in the garden, and then you want to create this atmosphere of butterflies and insects, mainly butterflies though, because they're the most beautiful creatures in the world, in your garden. Kathy, how can they do that?
Well, there's actually a lot of things people can do to help the butterfly population that they may not know about. There are some really good hacks you can use in your garden to increase the population, like planting milkweed, which is very important to the monarch butterfly. And there's other host plants that are good for swallowtail butterflies and painted ladies and other butterflies we have in the area.
So my question I have right away is, you use the word host. You need a host, which is the plant or the leaf and all that, to attract those butterflies. And that's what you're trying to do, is get your host. And once you get... So what you're saying is you need to bring in a plant to have basically the butterflies a host. And those butterflies are going to be attracted to eat that host basically, which is whatever that plant is.
Well, actually, the way the process goes is a butterfly, say a monarch butterfly, for instance. The only place a female butterfly, monarch butterfly, will lay her eggs is on a milkweed plant.
Oh.
If she doesn't find a milkweed plant, she's not going to lay eggs, because when her caterpillars hatch out of those little tiny eggs, they need to start eating their host plant immediately. So she has to lay her egg on that plant, and then they're on that plant for about 2 weeks, just eating straight until it's ready for them to form their chrysalis.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
Now, to get into, and maybe I'm getting a little, how do the butterflies know that? So they'll go distance, and quite a distance, to find that milkweed wherever it is.
They will just know innately that that's where they're supposed to go to lay those eggs, and that's the only place they'll do it.
So I think you've answered a very simple question, is get milkweed right away, put in the yard maybe a good mass plantings, and you'll, within sooner than later.
Absolutely, sooner rather than later, you will start to see not only butterflies gravitating toward your milkweed, but you'll see little tiny eggs on your milkweed as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Kathy, I want to see more, because my brain is in a freeze right now, and I actually see them flying through that door right there. Can we go into, it's like being into like a theme park. Can we go into this park that I've been dying to see?
We sure can. Come on with me.
Let's do it.
Let's see what we got.
Wow. Where's Kathy? Kathy?
Here I am, over here.
I thought you turned into a butterfly.
I didn't.
This is a magical
now.
place. This is unbelievable.
Take a look around.
You got me scared.
It is something. We keep about a population of roughly 4,000 butterflies here in our conservatory, and that's any time of year you come see us. We're here in January, we're here in July. We have about 4,000 butterflies that are happily flying around living in our conservatory.
Tell me a little bit what's going on over there. This is like a little fire pit in the backyard, and they're all gathering. I mean,
well,
what are they doing?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? So these are our butterfly feeders, and in those feeders we have sugar water. Now we also have a tremendous amount of plants in here that are nectar flowers that our butterflies can drink from. And you have feeding options. We also have these butterfly feeders full of sugar water that they can use as an alternative food source.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Now, this particular plant right here, is this one that they actually thrive on too? This pink one right here, what is that called? Uh-oh. Kathy, this is One of the ones you were telling me, now this butterfly, I don't know if you can see, what's that called? You can see right through it.
This is called the glass wing for obvious reasons. This butterfly just doesn't have very many scales on its wings. Scales are what make up the butterfly colors and designs. The glass wings just don't have a lot of scales, but like all butterflies, they do like to search out nectar flowers, which happens to be these flowers right here. This is called a Jatropha or a lollipop plant. And these are native within the United States. You'd only find them probably in Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. Otherwise, you wouldn't really see these because the population of butterflies we have in here are tropical butterflies from all around the world.
So you don't have to go traveling. You can come here to Magic Wings, be a little bit of Hawaiian over here and see the style that the butterflies do here.
We have a lot of people who come visit us from tropical locales, and they feel like when they walk through the doors that they're back at home. And so it gives them a really, really nice feeling. And I always say that you would literally have to take a trip around the world to see all the creatures we have here, including butterflies. Instead, you can just come up to South Deerfield. No security to walk through. You don't have to take off your belt. You just come right in and enjoy.
Kathy, let's see more. Oh, I don't know, what is this bird right here? Now, how does that come into the environment here with the butterflies?
Well, those are little adorable birds are called Chinese button quail. We introduced them into Magic Wings about 12 years ago. They were supposed to come in and be little scavengers and help us keep bugs and things like that off the ground that we don't want in here. However, they're really well fed and we love them, so they really don't do their job anymore, but we still have them because they're cute as can be.
Unbelievable.
There's about 15 in here.
This is really unbelievable. It's almost dinner time for us and everybody else. But look it, you've got what we were talking about, the
Chinese button quail.
They're eating. And Kathy, what is this exactly and how does it get formed? What is this?
So this is what we call a butterfly buffet here at Magic Wings. As I said, we have a lot of tropical butterflies here. Now many of them have access to flowers and nectar in their native environments. However, for the butterflies that live under the canopy of the rainforest, what happens is they don't have a lot of flowers under there, so they can't get a lot of nectar. They do, however, have a lot of fruit trees. So what happens is this fruit will over-ripen on the trees, it will fall to the ground, and after it's just a few days old, it starts to liquefy. And when it starts to liquefy, butterflies will then, their proboscis will come out, which is their small straw-like tongue they have, and they will dip into that to find the liquid parts, and that's how they get their nutrition and energy.
So in the actual forest, what they'll do is they'll come down off of the tree and they'll smash.
They'll smash onto the ground, and this happens with bananas, plantains, mangoes, star fruit, papaya, all sorts of different fruits, and the butterflies are good with any of those as long as they're overripe and they're starting to liquefy.
Wow. So Kathy, there's so many varieties, and at that dish there is actually a good dinner, and you can still see them flying by. Do you know what the varieties of, is that the right word, varieties of butterflies?
Varieties or species.
Species, yes.
We have anywhere from 35 to 45 different species here at Magic Wings, but there's really about 120,000 different species of butterfly around the world. And there's about 117,000 different species of moths. So what we have are butterflies, like I said, from the rainforest, whether it's in South America, whether it's in Ecuador, other tropical locations. The rainforest butterflies will drink that ripened fruit juice.
You really have your hands full. Let's go to a really, really cool area. This is amazing. We've got an overabundance of air plants, I know, strategically placed over here, and they love it. This one here is really loving that. This makes gardening that you can create in your own garden, the butterflies and all the insects. This is really magical. Now, was this hard to get this? Was there a theme that you had behind this coming down off of the palm? This is really nice.
Yeah, I think it's just it just shows the quality of work that my staff, my horticulture staff, my flight attendant staff in the conservatory, how creative they are and what they come up with to keep this as genuine as possible to a tropical environment.
Because right here on the corner you got some nice texture, and you could do this, and even though this is tropical, but you can put this in the garden. This is a peace lily, and this gives you a nice curvature to go into where the area. And come on over here, check this out. This is beautiful. I mean, look at this. This is like a butterfly sanctuary, Kathy, that you've created. Look at this. I mean, I feel like I'm somewhere in the jungle of Fiji here. How did you guys incorporate this in your staff, in you, Kathy, and everyone incorporate this? You were saying the staff is great, and look at this. This gives you the curve.
This again is another tropical plant. It's called the chenille plant. If you feel it, it's very, very fluffy, very, very soft. It fits right in beautifully with our theme of tropical plants, tropical flora, tropical fauna, which you'll find throughout our conservatory. And it doesn't matter what time of year it is, because in here the temperatures and the humidity is designed for all of these plants. The air plants, of course, help with the air. They grow, they look beautiful, and they're also helping with the air, just like all of these plants are. We have some beautiful orchids that are placed strategically throughout. Again,
I see those over there.
Feel.
Yeah.
And it's just to kind of keep the whole thing genuine with what you would find in these butterflies' natural environment.
And one thing is, the word is genuine. I can't smile as we both stand here, we're talking about the gardens and the butterflies, and there has to be a show off every once in a while, and they come flying by. Hey, here I am, I'm on camera. The butterflies whisk around you. Everybody needs their time. So, Kathy, this is really getting really amazing.
This is something. Yep.
So, Kathy, they're everywhere. And then you have this resting spot, not for just the butterflies, but for people. I mean, this has been a really long day, and right now I'm just like tranquil, I'm relaxed. Do a lot of people tell you when they come here they're a little bit stressed, and then when they leave they feel relaxed? Do they ever say that to you?
All the time. For years and years and years they've been telling us that. We even had a woman who was in therapy, and she said she quit her therapy and just comes to Magic Wings once a week, and that's all she needs. It's so serene. We have the beautiful background music playing, just to sit and watch everything you can see, and the more you look, the more you see.
Now, you said you have the background music. How do you know what kind of music the butterflies like? I mean, do you guys know something that I don't know in the garden?
We're not really 100% sure what they like. They did not participate in any of our surveys.
Okay.
So what we do is we play background music that we find is very instrumental, calming, and really does complement the environment in here. Just
And that-
the overall, nature of it.
And that's what's bringing people into the garden, is the tranquil, the butterflies and all
I
that.
believe so.
Well, Kathy, I'm going to say out loud, thank you so much. But I'm going to tell you, I never learned about you and what got you started into this whole butterfly. I mean, this garden. There's a lot of work that the staff, you, and everyone's on, and this doesn't done right away.
No,
this was years and years.
Years in making.
How did this all start?
Well, strangely enough, it's kind of a family affair. My father was a general contractor, and he was contacted in 1998 by a man who had visited a butterfly conservatory right outside of Denver, Colorado, and he lived in the area. And he came back and thought, we could use something like that. So he contracted with my father simply to come in and build the conservatory, and only half of the size, that side, because this was added on in 2006. So my father, we were having a Sunday dinner one night, and he said to the family, I think I'm going to build this butterfly place. We were like, okay, Dad. He was 56 years old, incidentally the same age I am now. And so he started to build this. And as they started to build it and go along, he got more interested in the business side of it and what was going to happen here. And he became enthralled with that and thought it would be a really good thing for him to be part of. So he ended up partnering up with the original person with the idea. And then after about 3 years of opening to the public, my dad asked me to come in. So I came in, I started in the gift shop on a register. And the next year we brought in my brother to be the business manager. We bought out the other person, and then it was the Miller family here. And so my dad's thumbprint is on every single thing you see in here. Unfortunately, we lost him in 2017, but my brother and I continue on to do the great work that he begun and to just keep his legacy alive.
Wow. I mean, in not only spending the day with you today, you truly have the passion for this.
Yes.
But the passion is kind of like, you know, how much longer can you actually do this? And you want to be able to be maybe a little bit more free from this place, which is the Butterfly, probably the capital of the world right here in this building.
Yeah, pretty close to it. And you know, and we have, my brother and I have decided, and with my father's blessing, because we had talked about as a family selling Magic Wings to perhaps a new family or a corporation or some people who do share that same passion and are so excited about what we do here. And we know those folks are out there somewhere. We just haven't bumped into them yet. Our hope is that we'll find the right people who want to come in and continue our work. We'll stay on board with them for at least a year to make sure that everything goes smoothly.
You used the word bump into the person yet. Chris, what do you think?
Think about it.
Kathy, we might have something going here. This could be me into. I could actually see myself around the garden with Jimmy K with the butterflies.
I know, and it's very turnkey. My staff know that it's for sale. They all want to stay. And so even though it's a living, moving environment, it's a very well-oiled machine as well for a business. And so for new people who are coming in, they just will have the staff to rely on, and my brother and I give them a great start.
Wow. So Kathy, can you tell them how they can reach you, how they can come down here, your operation hours, and everything and more, what you teach? And I also, if I'm correct, you do weddings here?
Oh my gosh, do we? They are beautiful. We do weddings and receptions right here. We do baby showers and bridal showers and memorial events and corporate events. And we just have the function room and the space. We have a commercial kitchen. So we can provide people with all of that. We do our weddings in the evening time, so the couples have the place to themselves, of course. We are open to the public every day, Tuesday through Sunday, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We close on Mondays and Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day. All of our information is on magicwings.com, and people can just look right there for all our information or give us a call.
Wow. Well, Kathy, I am going to tell you that you are the Butterfly Woman, and I'm going to tell you, in memory of your father, thank you so much for being on my show.
I appreciate it.
You are the Butterfly Woman.
Thank you.
So everybody, on that note, come down and see Kathy, and we'll see you soon on Around the Garden with Jimmy K. Stay tuned, have fun all, and explore the yard like you've never seen before. There's butterflies everywhere. You just got to bring them into the yard. Thank you, Kathy.
Oh my, that was great.